All right, ladies and gentlemen, Fabs in the house, and welcome back to the channel. I got a pretty cool video lined up for you guys today. I'm very excited to share my impressions, my experience, and my thoughts with you guys, because look at what I have on the table. It's going to be a 3-segment video. We're going to talk about this projector, really briefly about these two cameras, and I'm going to show you some slides on Lightbox, because projecting, it's going to be a little bit tricky, but there's not going to be any projection on the wall yet, because yeah, this is the quiet before the storm. Think of it as a backstage tour and philosophical warm-up for a live slide show. Real slide, like these ones, not the slide you see on your computer. This will happen here in Vancouver at a public venue, and the date is still to be announced, but it will be on this channel, so stay tuned for that. Today we just look at these 3 things. I've got the Linhof projector right over here. This is a medium format Linhof projector based on the Leitz Prado Universal projector, and I've got the cameras that created the slides that are 6x7 slides, and this is the whole chain, and I'm gonna tell you why this completely destroys digital fakery and AI fantasy when it comes to real photographic experience. So let's just start with the star of the show. I'm just gonna remove these bad boys because I wanna show you really how this projector works. So here we have this beauty right over here. This is the main unit. This is the Lenov version of the Leitz Prado Universal projector. You know, according to the Linhof supplement, the basic chassis right over here is identical to the Prado Universal, but Linhof reworked the lighting, reworked the condenser system, and matched it with their own projection lenses to cover what they call the Linhof ideal format. 2 1/4 by 2 3/4 inches, about 56 by 72 millimeters, like that. In simple words, this is built to throw big, clean images from 6x7 style transparencies. Let me walk you through the anatomy of this bad boy. You have, the basic projector body right over here. You have a lighting system, which I want you to enjoy. So I'm gonna open this up right over here. There's just one screw that holds the unit together. There you go. Inside you'll see the lighting system. There you go. This is the housing that just comes off like so, and you can see the Linhof projector logo. You have the fans, the opening, and inside is just like that. Inside you see how this unit is made. So you have a lighting system right over here. There is this really heavy unit, by the way. There is an interchangeable condenser assembly right over here, and also here at the front. You have the slide charger or changer for 85 by 85 millimeter mounts. You have the lens over here with the lens tube and the lens cone. So that's the lens which can focus. You can see like Will Wetzlar, Germany lens. Incredible lights, Wetzlar, Germany, 200 millimeter lens. This is insane. You have the projection lens itself, of course, and the locking screw that is marked Linhof as well, that holds the beast together. So to assemble this fella, you can, you don't have to remove the outer housing. I just wanted to show you how neatly engineered and built this unit is. So I'll just put it back because we want to protect all the internal parts. So I'm just gonna screw that back like so. And I'm gonna tighten with my trusty Leatherman. I should have used a coin, a German coin, but this will do. So, this is a phenomenal unit. I'm curious about the weight, but it's like several pounds, several kilograms. You mount the lens like so. You see, you have a hole and two pins that they align with the cone of the lens. And from below, you just use the lens to screw it in. So this is universal projector. It's manual. Once you mount this, you just drop this slide mount holder, which also slides to change one slide at a time, and it goes in like so. Boom. And this is how you mount the unit. So because this is a Linhof, the condenser is just not a generic block. For optimum illumination, the manual says that 300 millimeter projection lens uses a different condenser assembly for the one shared by the 150 and the 200 millimeter, which is this bad boy right over here. So if you change from 150 to 200 or to 300 or back again, you have to swap the condenser unit which is inside to keep the light field, perfectly even across the large slide. Very German, very, very precise. I hope you can read this manual. There's plenty of informations which are really hard to get online. There is like nothing. So probably this is the only video that you'll ever see on this about this unit. Then you insert the charger, the changer from above, with the label facing the lamp, and there are cuts on both sides so you can grab the slide easily, whether you're left-handed or right-handed. So this goes like this, and you have the cuts that just like so. You see, you just slide it in, and the other one, it's out. So you have a very, very easy way to change and load the slides. So if you want to project 2 1/4 square transparency in 7 by 7 centimeter mounts, you just use the reducing frame that drops into the changer. So pretty clever. That's why it's called universal. You line them up as in the in the manual, as the manual suggests, and suddenly the machine covers their square stuff too. So it's insane. Lenov supplied a small lens lineup for this projector for the 2 1/4 by 2 3/4 and 2 1/4 square format. You get Elmaron. Where is it? I think it was written somewhere here. There you go. You have Elmaron, that is 1 to 2.8. 150 millimeter. You have a Splendor, which is 3.5 200 millimeter. You have the Splendor, sorry, and Splendon, which is 5.2 300 millimeter for the 35 millimeter slides. With the adapter kit, you can use the Color Plan, which is a 90 millimeter 2.5, and the Elmaron, which is a 150 2.8. Those are the options for the lenses for the different formats. So in the back of the leaflet, Linhof gives a big table over here for the enlargement size, projection distances, and how big you can produce an image. For example, you know, with 150 millimeter lens at 3 meters, you get about a 1.4 meter image, which is pretty cool. You know, print a 1.4 meter image, yeah, it's tough. Here you project it for free. You know, you can push the projector to 10 meters and that gets close to 4.7 meter images. With a 300 millimeter lens at the same 10 meters, you get around 2.3 meters images. So it's phenomenal. So when the real public show happens, this thing can absolutely fill a good size wall with medium format glory, guys. Unique experience. It's seeing this guy in action is insane. But just for today, I'm just showing you the machine, a couple of cameras, and just the slides. The actual projection experience is reserved, you know, for the live event. It's going to be very difficult and kind of pointless, if you ask me, to take a video of a projection. You got to be there. So this is the Linhof Universal projector. This is the Prado with Leitz lens for all the formats up to 2.25 and 2 by 2.75 inches, and it's a beast of a unit. It's very rare. It's very expensive. It is. Also something I want to show you on the back of this unit. You have just 3 position, half full length is very awkward to hold it like that. You have 120, 220 volts, and you have on, off, and 2 intensities for the lamp. So this closes for the first segment about the projector, and I'm going to show you just really quickly a couple cameras that I use to produce these slides. So these are the cameras behind the slides. These are the responsible of the images I'm going to show you in a bit, and that if you're going to come to the live slide projection, you know, you're going to be able to see the output of these 2 beasts. So Pentax 6x7 Mark II. This is, you know, what is feeding the beast. You just saw the Linhof. And this is the Plaubel W67 Makina. So 6x7 transparencies, you know, are not random stock images. They come from real cameras that have seen rain, mud, and a lot of trail dust. You know, first there's this chunky legend. This is my setup. It's pretty cool. I just walk around holding it from the handle. It's a legend. You know, basically it's a giant 35 millimeter style camera scaled up to shoot 120 film. You get that big bright viewfinder, you know, classic SLR handling, negative or positive in this case, that measures 6x7 centimeters. This is the perfect match for the Linhof ideal format projector. The lenses on this system are famous for that smooth rendering and depth. You have the legendary 105 2.4. It is fantastic. I'm using this one. This is a 135 macro lens with some extension tubes, which gives you around 1:1 magnification ratio. But don't forget to add 5 stops if you use this and fully extended barrel. Then I'm in love with this 165 2.8, and I'm using also very often with the teleconverter 2 times. Great lens, extended. It comes like a big boy. But the Pentax 6.7 system is just something phenomenal. It's just, you know, a set of lenses that are just spectacular. This is the 55 to 100 f4.5. you know, very, very obvious once you see the slide glowing on the light box. About, you know, the quality is really, really obvious. Next to this beast, I have got the very, very compact Plaubel Makina collapsible 6x7 with a 55 millimeter 4.5 Nikkor wide Nikkor lens. This is equivalent to the 28, so equivalent to the wide end of this one. But look at this. I mean, size-wise, there's no comparison. But this is a rangefinder camera, still rocking a light meter inside the body with a pretty cool grip. This is kind of like a little ninja compared to this blatant and obvious and clunky and loud reflex. Completely different personalities. You know, where the Pentax is kind of like a tank, the Plaubel is a folding rangefinder that collapses into a compact brick with a fixed lens, so not a system like this one. It's almost like a, you know, a pocket view camera that someone put like a turbo on. It's crazy. The lens on the Makina is insanely sharp, very, very three-dimensional look. So when you see those slides, you're basically looking through one of the nicest pieces of glass ever bolted to a roll film camera. Nikon makes amazing lenses. Both cameras expose the same 6x7 frame, but they do it with very, very different character. Part of the fun of the future projection show will be spotting which slide came from which body, you know, just based on rendering and perspective. In this video, we just stop here, you know, one step earlier and just enjoy a couple slides on a light box. This is just to give you an idea of what it takes to produce these kind of slides and what it takes to project them. So you need a 6x7 camera, you need a 6x7, I mean 120 rolls in this case, and you need that projector there to create the full circle, the full experience, like Ansel Adams always taught in his 3 books, the negative, the camera, and the print. Here we close the circle because you have the positive, you have the camera, and you have the projection, because we're talking about slides, positive, reversal film, not negative, so there's nothing in between. That is the beauty of shooting slides. 6x7 are the, to my knowledge, is the largest format you can project. I'm not aware of any 6x8 projector. I have 6x8 cameras, but I'm shooting more slides with these because I'm able to project them on a large screen, and that is again closing the circle of the pure analog photography experience, and that is just phenomenal. So right now I'm just gonna take this bad boy out and I'm gonna set up a light box so we can I can share a couple slides with you. So here is where the fight begins. You know, on the light box, these 6x7 slide already feel like tiny windows into another place. You can hold them in your hand, you can tilt them, you can see how the light pours through the emulsion. Look at that. What are you seeing is not an interpretation of data, guys. It is light that is literally filtered by the piece of film that sat in the camera at that moment. Every grain, every color, every cloud is a record of photons that left a real tree, a real rock, a real person traveled across space, went through a real lens and landed in this emulsion. You know, compare that to AI. Sure, you can't do it, right? You know, to make an AI landscape, you just sit at a desk and type something like ultra detailed misty forest at sunrise, medium format shot on Kodachrome, trending on whatever. you know, forget about that. The model then, you know, digs through a statistical soup of other people images and spits out a very impressive hallucination, I have to say. It can be beautiful, it can be clever, it can be technically perfect, but what it cannot be is evidence. Slide is evidence. It proves that a certain place in the real world, the light looked exactly like this. At one exact fraction of a second, exactly like this. You know, if you want to argue with it, you would have to build a time machine and go back to the spot. And that is where the whole Ansel Adams idea comes full circle. He said the negative is the score and the print is the performance. Here we are working with positive, so you can say camera, positive, light box, the score and the performance are fused together in one fragile piece of plastic, very fragile, very delicate. There is no remastered, no remixed version, no sky replacement. If I messed up the exposure here, it will be there forever. If I nailed it, it sings without any help from sliders or prompts. Look closer, enhance, enhance, enhance. Look at the water. It feels like it's moving. Actually, it's my hand moving, but anyways, you know what I mean. You can see insane detail in the highlights, tiny texture in the rocks. The way the color gently moves from highlight to shadow. You know, film grain gives you a subtle texture, like the surface of a painting. Your brain reads that as a distance and volume. That is why medium format slides on a light box feel so three-dimensional. They pull you in. AI can fake depth very convincingly. Sure. The slide is not even trying at all. You know, it's just quite stubborn truth. Reality as it was, not as we wish it had been. There is also a funny difference in effort. To make an AI masterpiece, you write a prompt, hit enter, and then argue with a random seed for 15 minutes. To make one of these slides, I had to carry a Pentax or Plaubel, or in this case, this was a Mamiya 7, onto the place, you know, set it up, wait for the bright light, meter the scene, commit to a shutter speed, and then send the film to the lab. And wait like a kid at Christmas. You wait. That's the romance, guys, that is completely lost. You know, only then do I finally see if that moment worked. Insane level of detail. On the light box, you know, the slide either rewards or humiliates me in about half a second. There is something very, very human in that. Analog photography is honest about the cost of seeing. AI removes the cost, and with it, a lot of the meaning is gone. And here is the key thing for me. AI will keep getting better at simulating detail, simulating depth, simulating film grain, simulating whatever we throw at it. What it can never simulate is the fact that the slide has actually been somewhere. This tiny rectangle here traveled through a camera in a real beach, on a real coastline, in front of real trees. Look at these branches. When I show it on the light box, you know, the room is being lit by the memory of that moment. You're not only looking at a picture, you're looking at a physical souvenir of time. That is something no neural network can generate. Simple, very simple. You know, AI has no bodies, that has no past, only has probabilities. These pieces of film have like scars, there's dust, there's fingerprints, there's a fog, there's tiny scratches from the mount, all things that people call imperfections, sure, but they are the proof that they exist in the same world we do. Check out these colors. So, you know, this video is my little preview. You met the Linhof projector. You met the cameras that took these pictures. The Linhof projector eventually will throw these slides floor to ceiling. You see the camera that captures the scenes. You get a taste of the magic right here on the light box. You know, the full projection show will happen in Vancouver in a public space. Still have to announce to determine the time and location. I will announce it, don't worry. If you want to sit in a dark room and let 6x7 transparency fill your field of view the old-fashioned way, make sure you subscribe to the channel and keep an eye on my announcement page. Until then, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Are we crazy to keep shooting and projecting film in the age of AI, or this is exactly the moment when analog becomes more valuable than ever? This is Fab from Fabs in the Wild, putting another piece of real light on the table. I'll see you on the trail, hopefully one day in front of a very, very bright screen. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.